Hi, it's Isabel, A Curious Tale. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to share a craft project with you, which is upcycling a vintage shacket or overshirt or shirt jacket, because it's something I've done twice now. Well, probably more with like slightly different garments, but twice with specifically vintage jackets, and I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a really fun craft project if you want something to upcycle that you can wear a lot in your daily life that's still like very practical, but it sort of becomes a wearable piece of art, which is something I really love. So I made a short video a while ago about upcycling this jacket, which is a vintage Wrangler, sort of a velvet denim jacket, and I put this Margal patch on the back that I got in Kathmandu last time I was there, and then on the front I put these Buddha eye patches my husband made. You can message him on Instagram if you want one. And then this is eye brooch I made a while ago, and then a badge that I had since I was a child. This one, the famous cat woman, and a pin from the tattoo studio my husband works at, little denim badge. And yeah, so I really love this jacket, love wearing it, and I've really been into the colour combination of khaki and a bright red recently. Very much that you see in like vintage Chinese artworks. Really love it. So I'm going to take you through the process of me upcycling my latest jacket, in the hopes that you feel inspired yourself to see how you could make your own or make something similar. Yeah, and just to in general share my love of upcycling, of vintage, of textiles. You'll see I'm using some Chinese textiles to upcycle the jacket, and it was one that my husband was going to get rid of, that he didn't want anymore, so everything was just using bits and bobs that I had already, so it didn't cost me anything, which is always a plus. So yeah, join me through the process as we upcycle the jacket, and let me know what you think. I'm starting with this Chinese tote bag. I was given it as a child, so it's definitely over 20 years old, so we can say it's vintage. And it's really beautiful, but the straps are too thin to sort of put anything heavy in. And I thought, let's use it for the jacket. This is the back with this beautiful patchwork and these really interesting characters on that I immediately thought would be good pocket covers. And then I thought the large circular embroidery piece would be an amazing back patch. This is how it looks inside. You can see it's all a fine cotton, and this is the shacket. My husband BJ didn't want it anymore, and it's a vintage German 100% wool piece, so really practical, really sturdy, and the colour's perfect. So this is me envisioning the back patch. I just cut it out roughly and then slightly more finely, leaving a lot of space to turn it over and sew to hem it, so that it's already hemmed, no raw edges when I'm sewing it onto the jacket. So that will just mean it's more secure and easier to sew on. So there it is, sewn on. You can see from the back that I double stitched, so each stitch went over itself just to keep it nice and sturdy, and really happy with how it turned out. I then positioned my first patchwork square on one of the pockets, just seeing how it would look. I ended up cutting off the bottom corners and pinning it in place. Then I used blanket stitch around it with some embroidery thread, because I thought the colours went really well. Then I used a white eyeliner to draw on an eye, which I then embroidered in red embroidery thread, which I actually used on the final pocket patchwork because I'd run out of yellow, and I really love the mix of the yellow and the red embroidery thread, which you can see there. And this is just zooming in on the pockets. I like the really bright yellow thread. I think it just ties it together as well, and I'm really glad I did all 3 pockets, because I was initially thinking to just do one, but I think it looks much more intentional. Then here I embroidered cream, which is the beach syllable for Goddess Kali, and then you can also see the pocket below, and this is what the back patch looks like as well on the back of the jacket. All in all, I'm super happy with how it turned out. Can't wait to style it. Thank you for following my process with me. Let me know if you plan to upcycle anything yourself. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Also, just a quick note, because why not, what I'm wearing today, because again, I just love vintage and textiles from around the world, and I want to share that. So I have this vintage Laura Ashley dress. This waistcoat is from Uzbekistan, but I've unfortunately never been. It's definitely on my list of top countries I'd love to visit. I found this on Vinted though. That is my tip. If there's a country that you just love their traditional textiles and clothing, obviously research as much as possible, which is super fun. And then you can literally just type the country into Vinted. I just searched Uzbekistan or Uzbek, and this came up. So that's one way to find absolutely beautiful clothing from different places you're interested in. Then this necklace I made using this antique child's bracelet from Nepal a friend gave me, and then I added some different textile pieces. This scarf my mom got in Russia in the 80s when she and my dad visited. This hat I got from a street vendor in Paris when I was visiting my friend. And my rings I got in a vintage shop in Edinburgh, a Himalayan craft market in the Highlands, a really cool handmade jewellery brand called Bardo Jewellery. It's like a gold plated skull, and then a traditional vintage ring from Mali, which again I've not yet visited, but yeah. So that's pretty much what I'm wearing, just in case anyone was interested. So yeah, thanks again for joining me today. Please check out my other videos for some upcycling inspiration, and I also chat about tarot cards, artwork, different things like that. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you want to, and hope to see you again soon. Bye!